Let's talk about nature narrative essays. Nature narrative essays are an essay that I commonly start with in E&C 1101. A narrative is a pretty common assignment for a freshman writing class. Some assign literacy narratives, where you would be telling your personal story of your interaction with literature. I prefer a nature narrative because often students have had a fairly bad interaction with literacy, with reading and writing in their K through 12 years, whereas we can all have somewhat of an interesting experience or a growing experience in nature. So, a nature narrative is your story about a specific time that you spent in nature. I have had students try to combine several times in nature, and often that can be very challenging. So, I would encourage you to write about one time you spent in nature, and you want to approach that time with a question. Now, this doesn't have to be a positive experience. If you don't like nature, you could go back into nature with the question of, do I still not like nature? Or could I have a positive experience with nature? And then see what your experience is. And as this paragraph explains, this could be anywhere outside. Nature is just outside. So while you could be going to the mountains or the beach, you could also be going in a backyard, yours, your grandma's, wherever, your balcony on your apartment, or somewhere on campus. A bench on campus is outside. So getting that time in nature will allow you to write your nature narrative. You want to go into this experience with a question because your thesis will be the answer to that question. Some students go in with, how does spending time in nature affect my anxiety? How does spending time in nature affect how I do my homework? Here's an example for an introduction for a nature narrative. If you look at the beginning, it starts out broad, explaining how this person has discovered what spending time in nature can be, and then it ends very narrow with explaining what they learned from being in nature. That afternoon taught me that nature is not just a far-off destination, but a living world unfolding right beside us every day. The coming paragraphs would then focus on proving that thesis by explaining the experience and focusing on that main idea. Good luck on your nature narratives. If you have questions or something else you'd like covered, leave a comment.